Did you know that one of the most powerful sounds in Celtic mythology is not the clash of swords, but the cry of grief? The Celts believed the very first keening, the mournful wail for the dead, was born from the heart of the goddess Brigid. Today, we uncover the story of Brigid and the first keening, a tale of love, loss, and the divine voice that still echoes in Ireland. Brigid was no ordinary goddess. She was the daughter of the Dagda, chief of the Tuatha De Danann, and she shone with the brilliance of fire and inspiration. She was a goddess of healing, of poetry, and of the flame of the forge. Farmers, poets, blacksmiths, and healers all prayed to Brigid. Her gifts brought warmth to the hearth, words to the tongue, and life to the land. Brigid's light was both gentle and fierce, a balance of tenderness and strength. But even the gods knew sorrow. Brigid's beloved son, Ruadán, was a warrior in the great conflicts between the Tuatha De Danann and their enemies, the Fomorians. Though young, Ruadán was brave and clever. He trained as both a warrior and a craftsman, learning from the gods themselves. Yet in the great battles of Mag Tuired, Ruadán's fate was sealed. Ruadán struck a blow against the divine smith Goibniu, but the master of the forge was no ordinary foe. With his last strength, Goibniu turned and dealt Ruadán a fatal wound. The battlefield fell silent as Brigid rushed to her son's side. She knelt in the blood-soaked grass, cradling her dying child. And in that moment of anguish, she let out a cry, not a scream of rage, not a warrior's shout, but a sound so full of grief that it pierced the hearts of gods and mortals alike. That cry was the first keening, a mournful lament that had never been heard before. It rose and fell like the wind. It carried sorrow, love, and longing. It was more than sound. It was the language of grief itself. The Tuatha De Danann bowed their heads. The Fomorians grew still. For in that keening, they all felt the same truth. Even gods could know the pain of loss. From that day onward, the women of Ireland carried on Brigid's keening. At funerals and wakes, they wailed in her tradition, not just to mourn the dead, but to honor their life, to help their soul journey into the other world. Keening became sacred, a bridge between the living and the dead, the mortal and the divine. And Brigid, though a goddess of light and fire, became also a goddess of tears, one who understood human sorrow. What makes Brigid so beloved is her duality. She is the hearth flame that warms and the forge fire that creates. She is the gentle healer and the fierce mother who mourns. The Celts celebrated her festival, Imbolc, at the start of spring, when new life stirs, but winter's shadow still lingers. Her story of keening reminds us that life is always woven with both joy and grief. The story of Brigid and the first keening is not one of battle, but of love. It is a myth that explains why we mourn, why we cry, and why those cries matter. So the next time you hear the sound of grief, a cry, a song, a wail, remember, it began with Brigid, the goddess who gave the world both fire and tears. And now, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this legendary tale, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more myths from the Mythic Archive. Because myths are not just stories, they are the echoes of eternity.